I'm Barbara. Welcome, you guys. Jackie, hi. Yay!
Hi, Lynn.
It's
How are
like we're
you?
getting.
Can you hear
Hey, Tyler,
me
we're
okay?
even getting better at this. This
Yes.
this is like a record. How quickly we were able to get our guest on.
There we go. We're making progress.
Well, hey everyone. I'm so excited for you guys to join us. Feel free to ask questions. And hey, Lori, just make any comments or anything in the comment button there. I'm Lynn Thomas. I'm the co-founder of Arenas for Change. We do training and certification and have an amazing community of professionals who incorporate horses and nature and a story mindset in mental health, coaching, and education practices. And I'm also a co-founder with Tyler Tyler, I am so sorry. I don't know why I get your last name.
That's okay.
Brklacich.
Yep.
Uh, Along with Jackie, I think I saw Jackie on here too. Hey guys, of Horses for Mental Health. And we're really excited to talk with you guys today about what Horses for Mental Health is all about is advocating and amplifying awareness for organizations who provide mental health services incorporating horses. And I'm excited to talk about this because we want to talk about how to start a movement, which is what we're looking to do and aiming to do with Horses for Mental Health and the Seen Through Horses campaign, which is what we'll be talking about, the behind the scenes, some of that kind of exciting details of how it all works, because starting a movement, and I know a lot of us who do this type of work, it's going to benefit all of us. It's going to uplift all programs. But I think understanding a little bit about how movements are created also benefits individual organizations, how to start a movement in your community of support for the work that you do. So we're doing this large scale with Horses for Mental Health. Hopefully some of the things we'll talk about today will help you at kind of the smaller scale as well. So anyway, Tyler, welcome. I'll let
Thank
you
you.
start by telling a little bit about yourself and how you got into starting movements in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's been quite a bit of a journey, but I'm Tyler Brklacich. I'm co-founder and executive director for Horses for Mental Health. And it's been, yeah, a really great experience for this sector at large, and we'll kind of get a little bit more into that. But I started way back when, about, I don't even know, 12, 13 years ago with Jackie Bomber, as you mentioned, is a co-founder of Horses for Mental Health and Regions for Change, really as an intern that I was wanting to get involved with another sector, anti-human trafficking, and really just kind of threw myself into the nonprofit and social impact sector, and was a political science major in my undergrad, and then did the Peace Corps, and then came back and did my MBA in Madrid, and have kind of combined business and social impact sector together, which has actually been really complementary. And yeah, it's kind of been that story for a while, but we've, helped other sectors. What we really want to do, and kind of how it all started, is nonprofits, they, from really the beginning of time, have really been competing against one another, competing for scarce resources, and with a mindset that it's limited and that we can't work together and we need to work against each other as competitors to, whether it's gain a sponsorship, a grant, uh, donations from a specific, donor or donor group. And we continue to see this, and we ran into block after block after block, and success, but difficulties. And then we kind of said, what if we flip the switch and started working together? And we came up with the convener model, and convening people, like-minded organizations, like-minded corporations, all with the same mission. That actually, if we work together, we can cast a wider net and really under the guise that a rising tide lifts all boats. And so that's really kind of where this has started. And it's been a beautiful experience. It's not been the easiest, but it's been a really fun experience to show people that there is a way to work together to benefit more people at the same time.
Yeah, I love that because it starts with first the mindset of collaboration versus
Hmm.
competition.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, so often there's that fear element of, wait a minute, if I share awareness or share about, people might donate to another organization and not donate to our organization or
Hmm.
support our organization. So there's that fear element,
Yep.
that scarcity kind of component. So how is it that you feel it's been helpful to kind of shift that mindset into people being willing to be more collaborative, that convener model concept, like the more of us working together,
Mhm.
rising tide lifts all boats. What's your thoughts on how we've been able to, or in general?
Yeah. Well, I think really what it comes down to is reminding all of us why we're doing what we do, and that comes back to the mission. Because obviously, fundraising usually always takes the top priority because, people need to be able to be paid, we need to donate, we need to create resources, all of these things. It's definitely important. And it's also kind of the flashiest thing. We raise this amount of money, this millions of dollars, and that kind of is a headline. But then that in that process, we often forget what we're there for. And really, nonprofits should be working ourselves out of work because that we have no longer a food problem. We no longer have mental health problems. We have no longer, obviously, that's the ideal, but we forget about that often. And rather than saying, it's all about the money, but rather the mission, I think reminding ourselves about that really kind of reminds people and saying, oh yeah, we can work together because the more we do, the more awareness we do, the more fundraising we do, the more people we can help. And so I think that's like a first kind of step. And then showcasing and really kind of saying, hey, this has worked in the past, or having enough kind of sales pitch to say this will work in the future. And we had to do that with our first Seen Through Horses campaign. We started with kind of not, we started with an idea and a vision of what we could do with Horses for Mental Health and Seen Through Horses. And we said, hey, look, bringing a church, 50 at the time or 40 nonprofits together, think of the impact we'll be able to reach because there's going to be networks within those networks. And then we bring in fundraising ambassadors, which are, people in those, volunteers or donors or anybody there. They go and tell their family and friends, and the ripple effect is just really amplifies what we do. And really, at the end of the day, then all of a sudden you have 10x the amount of people that know about therapy incorporating horses. And all of a sudden, more people are talking about it. We're starting to see it more on our Instagram. We're starting to see it more on Facebook, and articles talk about it. And people in your own community are learning about it. So, therefore, are going to your programs. And so, it really is this beneficial ecosystem that can help if you have the right mindset. And we've seen it work kind of time and time again. And so I think it's just a bit of a conversation to have. And once people catch on to it, it really is a little bit of a wildfire.
Yeah, I love that concept of, and just to welcome everybody who's been joining us.
Mhm.
It's good to see you guys. And so with Horses for Mental Health, we started what's called the Seen Through Horses campaign. And I want to give a big shout out because I see Jackie Balmer, who co-founded Horses for Mental Health and really had this vision to start us off with this idea of what you're sharing, Tyler, of a convener model, a peer-to-peer awareness and fundraising campaign to uplift the sector. It feels like for those of us who've been involved in incorporating Horses for Mental Health for many years, it's come a long ways in awareness and credibility. And we have a long ways to go. There's still a lot of people in the world who have no clue that this service even exists, how it could be beneficial. And ultimately, we're hoping that every person who's struggling with mental health or personal growth needs, that they'll think, oh, I'd like to look for a program incorporating horses. So it's like, well, how can we get that kind of momentum? How can we create that kind of movement? And it was like, well, the only way we're going to be able to do it is one, if all the different organizations of all the different training professional organizations, leaders in our industry, as well as the grassroots organizations, if we come together, share with our networks, and spread the word. And what I love what you're sharing there too, Tyler, is about what we're doing with the Seen Through Horses campaign is we're hopefully supporting everyone to mobilize your networks. I think that's been really interesting for me, is about, like you said, encouraging people to get a team of fundraising ambassadors. Well, that's just encouraging you to reach out to your networks and say, hey, if you love what we do and support what we do, will you go out and tell your friends
Mhm.
and
Yep.
colleagues and all that? So can you share more about the concept of mobilizing our networks to go out and share? Like, what does that take, or what, any thoughts about why that works?
Yeah, it can be a little tricky because I think always well, it's actually be tricky and easy, but it's really defining your story. And each of our organizations and each of our nonprofit charity partners have beautiful stories, whether it's how they were created or the clients that they're helping. And so really taking a time to say, hey, this isn't about me, the founder, or the executive director or the marketing person of the thing. It's about the people we're helping. And when you really kind of define that and focus on that, people start to want to tell those stories. They want to share how people are being helped. This sector is really great too, because a lot of people are connected to one, if not both, horses and mental health, if not again both. So everybody has a story about mental health, whether it's themselves or somebody they know or love. And then a lot of people in our community are also connected to a horse, whether it's directly or indirectly, or when they were a child, whether it's now, and they have a story that kind of says, wait a minute, I did feel that sense of peace, or I had that connection where I was having the worst day and I walked out and it was so calming. And so connecting and relating to, our volunteers, our donors, all of those, to connect and say, hey, wait, why is this important to you? It really then kind of inspires them to say, go out and tell their friends and family of that. And it's super important to really find that as an organization, because it it helps them guide their story along, as I've been kind of talking about. And so one thing that we also do that's really, I think, helpful is, because a lot of these organizations are doing the best they can and they want to focus on the help. That's something that I love about Seeing Through Horses and Horse Mental Health, is we create these stories through videos, animated stories, and resources that some organizations might not have, that they can email, they can text, they can quickly relay these to the masses, and that quickly tells the story as well. And so we've been able to see all of our fundraising ambassadors share these moments with family and friends, and easily connect and say, wait, how does a horse help, especially in a mental health capacity? And there's these stories and there's these resources. But kind of my theme throughout this, kind of what I'm talking about right now, is a story, and all of us connect beautifully with that, whether it's ourselves or others. And so starting a movement has been really fun. There's lots of challenges that come along with it, but I think this one, because people can connect so easily, it's been just really, really motivating for us. It's been inspiring to us. I think our charity partners have seen a growth in the activation, the want, the desire. And so it's just been really, really fun. And I think it's going to continue to grow each and every year.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell and his one book, The Tipping Point. So for those of you guys who are Malcolm Gladwell fans, and I love the concept. I mean, because really that's what we're looking to create here, is how do you create a tipping point where a movement starts off and it's the right time and at the right place, and next thing you know, things go viral, and it impacts all of behaviors and beliefs, and next thing you know, it's adopted into society, a whole belief system, and you get to that point, that tipping point, when that kind of almost takes a life of its own.
Mhm.
And from what you were sharing there, about how do we get what we're doing with horses and mental health, how do we get to that tipping point, and it starts off, I mean, Malcolm Gladwell talks about, it starts off with just a few people, who start saying, I'm going to make a difference, I'm going to tell people about something I genuinely, passionately believe in. And I'd like to share with how this was started, Seeing Through Horses, some of that behind the scenes. So people wonder about, well, how is Horses for Mental Health creating this platform? Where are we getting our funding from to do that? And it really started off with Jackie, one of our board members, Melissa Kitchen with Equine Network, having discussions and getting the support of our wonderful sponsor, Zoetis and Zoetis Equine, and that they were willing to jump in and take a risk on something completely new. Nothing like this has been done in the equine industry sector, at least. And so wonder if you want to share, Tyler, about what it is that Zoetis saw in this, that they decided to jump on board, sponsor the cost of us being able to put on an incredible event like this. By the way, everyone who doesn't know, Seeing Through Horses happens every May. This is our third one.
Mhm.
So we've only done third one, May 1st through 31st. Today's the last day of the
Yep.
campaign. So we'll share a little bit about how that's been going, but it's been really exciting. But yeah, what's your thoughts on what is it that a company, a large company,
Mhm.
was willing to take a risk on something like this and get involved?
Yeah, so kind of an interesting, pitch that we've done and Jackie has done in the past to, these corporations is their marketing dollars, because obviously a lot of the large organizations have sponsorships to social impact and NGOs, but the budget's usually a lot smaller compared to their marketing. And what we wanted to do again is creating this movement is having as many eyes as possible on this subject matter as possible. And that's, we want to create awareness. That's the first and foremost keystone of the Sing Through Horses campaign. And so awareness is perfect for a corporation, both for their bottom line and their organization at large, but also for their social impact. And knowing that this organization is doing good, that they believe in mental health, they believe in the power of horses, they believe that there's a transformational connection there. And so there was this sense that I think they believed in the organization of Horses for Mental Health, but they also believed in these organizations that we were going to support, our nonprofit charity partners. And we weren't just one organization that they were going to sponsor, or one organization they were going to support. We were saying, we're going to go out and build a network. We're going to go out and build not a network, only a network of nonprofit charity partners, but we're going to build upon their network, their fundraising ambassadors, their donors. So this ripple effect is going to be much larger than just, say, a one-off donation to one organization. And so I think that was really something special about what we do, and what I love about our institution is, I always say, we're building a stage to put a spotlight on as many other people than ourselves as possible. And that's a kind of a strange idea, because organizations obviously want it to be what they're doing and the work that we're doing, but we want it to be shining a light on the sector at large and mental health services, that are incorporating horses. And so it's something that I think they saw was beyond ourselves. It was beyond our organization. It was beyond one state, one city, one location. It was nationwide. And that's what we really wanted to do overall. And I think they saw that, which was really, really beautiful. It started with, a vision of, like you said, Jackie, Equine Network, yourself. And I think that was a ripple effect. And now, thousands of people are involved each May.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so beautiful to see everybody come together, and including Zoetis, yeah, for them willing to, uh, yeah, step into this, and they've been incredible partners, and we're really appreciative of that to help us even make this happen to begin with. And then everybody coming on board, we've had all the premier partners, which are different organizational, the training organizations, sector leaders get involved. And then another element of what Malcolm Gladwell talks about in the tipping point is that things need to be memorable. It needs to stick in people's minds. And so I feel a couple ways we've been doing that. One is creating these incredible videos, the stories of transformation, which I feel have been quite memorable. They're great to share. They're really good. They're actual case stories. Are there any thoughts about what you feel helps things stick and be memorable, like with these videos? What's your thoughts on that?
I think in no matter where you come from, your relationship, mental health, horses, rural communities, refugees, whatever the story we're highlighting, is what we try to do is that you will at some point in that story be able to connect with it and walk away and say, I have felt that way at one point, or I know somebody who has felt that way, or I know somebody who lives in a rural community or is a refugee or has lost somebody to suicide or whatever it is, and saying, I know what that terrible feeling was. And I don't know if I've experienced, a program incorporating horses or not, but it would make you think and say, oh, wow, that service is possibly there that I could tap into, that I could be helped out. And is that something in my community, which then goes and makes me research and understand. But I think it really is our team is, if I humbly say, has done a beautiful job of conveying these stories in a way that people can relate and connect to, and it humanizes it. It doesn't make it something that's afar or something that's different, or it's a different community. And also, what's beautiful about the power of videos is that it can go into thousands of mobile phones in an instant, and it's reaching all of those in the somebody's living room, wherever they are. That we can tell this story rather than the difficulty of a website or whatever it is that a lot of nonprofits might not have the resource to pump it out into the meta universe, or paid advertisements, all that. But these are really great ways to get into the hands and eyes of thousands of people, which we've been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think even for this year's campaign, our third campaign, and I think there's already, I don't know how many views on the videos, tens of thousands
Hmm.
already in this short time, which
I
has
think we're
been,
over 100,000. Yeah.
oh, over 100,000 even.
Yeah.
So that's really incredible. And I think even making it memorable, the feature videos are so that powerful. The rural mental health one that we had this year is a tearjerker too,
Yeah.
and it really highlights the issues of mental health in rural areas. And then
Yeah.
also the line drawings, I think that makes it memorable too, because it's so
Mhm.
unique and so engaging watching a story unfold through lines just
Yeah.
unfolding on the screen. So I think that was really a cool concept and idea.
Yeah, we've been trying to think outside the box and, in different ways that we can that are going to catch somebody's idea and like you said, make it memorable. I also think, talking about stories that maybe you wouldn't also think about as rural communities. As somebody that lives in urban cities, it that stuck out with me because I you tend to think about your own self, your own community. That's just kind of human nature. And so I knew mental health statistics and lives and stories in urban areas, but I often didn't think of communities in rural areas. And so this was, I think, a really important thing for me that I was like, wait, I have family in rural America, or rural communities, and I could understand that this actually might be an issue. And then as we started digging into it, the stats were alarming and it's a crisis. And I think that's also another kind of beautiful thing that it makes people think differently, and which is again the whole purpose of our campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think another part of it making a movement and that memorableness, that stickiness has been one, the like you said, with fundraising ambassadors, mobilizing our networks, it's basically asking your friends to tell their friends who tell their friends. So when our friends say, hey, this is a cause I believe in, it automatically makes it memorable. Like, wow, my network, my friends, my family, what my coworkers believe in this cause. I'm going to pay more attention to it. And then the other element of this, and I saw Chantel on with us, hi Chantel Klinger, who's been our huge help, is engaging celebrities and influencers. So do you want to share more about that process and when it's someone that we recognize as famous or someone we follow and kind of is important to us in our lives for whatever
Yeah.
reason, says something and they have millions of followers. Can you share more about engaging celebrities into this campaign? Thanks,
Yeah,
Chantel.
a big shout out to
It's good to
Chantel.
see you.
Yes, there's a lot of work
Chantel's the
behind the
magic
scenes.
worker
Yeah.
behind the scenes helping us.
Yeah, our celebrities manager and outreach, and she's just so well connected. And it's, a lot of work behind the scenes. So thankfully, our viewers and followers get to see just the posts and the beautifulness of it. But there's a lot of work that Chantel does. And but what the purpose of this is, again, our nonprofit charity partners who are benefactors, they have their own networks and donors, and they kind of tap into those over and over and over again. But again, Seen Through Horses is we want to spread this across everyone, and whether you're connected to horses or not, we want to say, everybody at the end of the day will say, therapy incorporating horses is an option for me. And a great platform of not only credibility but viewership are celebrities and influencers, and so they have this platform where people are watching them. When they post, they believe in what they're saying. They, whatever it's a product or what this is. And so we've been able to reach out to, horse loving enthusiasts, mental health advocates, and we're combining that love and saying, hey, we have this campaign. And really, all you need to do is share a post or share your story on your Instagram or on your social media channels. And guess what? It's easy. It's during Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a great advocate, like a great story to be told. It can help your viewers and followers. So, why wouldn't you? It's a really kind of an easy sell. I say that lightly, but it gives them purpose on their platform too. And so when we have over 40 influencers and celebrities amplifying the work and the campaign in general, all of these nonprofit charity partners now have new eyes that are directed to them. And we are hoping that, again, is directed at awareness and then also funds that, new donors come in and donate to them. And so it's a lot of just casting a wider net on these influencers that and celebrities that have a platform of thousands of followers. And I think at this point, our last data point was over 10 million, impressions or reaches that we've had through our celebrities and influencers this year. And if you can imagine, that's 10 million new viewers on this sector. And we would never have been able to achieve that if Horses for Mental Health was just working alone, or if one of our charity partners was just working alone. We've been able to do this because all 80 of us, all 80 organizations, hundreds of employees and staff hundreds of fundraising ambassadors and 40 plus, celebrities and influencers are all working together at the same time with a unified message. And so that's really that convener model, how it works beautifully. And then we just throw gasoline on the fire by adding celebrities and influencers to it.
Yeah, and I know we have some of our charity partners here, Freedom Equine. Thanks. They're so thankful for this team and the charity partners, and a blessing to be part of this amazing community. And Chantel, thanks. Grateful. She's grateful to be part of the campaign. We're so grateful for your help. I keep saying 35 plus celebrities because I say plus because it just keeps growing. I mean, Chantel, I don't know when she sleeps exactly, but I've also been in awe of is how engaged they have been. It's like they're genuinely passionate about this cause, and their willingness to share has been incredible. And yeah, over 10 million just in this 4 weeks time period of new people that have been exposed to the power that horses can have for mental health services. It's really amazing. And it keeps growing each year. So let's see, our first year we did it for 1 week in October of 2022, and we were like, oh my gosh, I hope that the charity partners, and the charity partners are organizations who are providing the grassroots mental health services. They're the ones who are doing the peer-to-peer fundraising, and we're supporting that through resources and the videos and training and creating this whole platform and the national support behind it. And so but that first year, I remember we were like, "Oh my gosh, I hope that they're able to raise $10,000."
Yeah.
Like that was, we were so,
so
we were like,
scared.
"Oh my gosh, are people going to understand?" And actually, people didn't really understand what we were trying to do. But then the second year, and we were so grateful for everybody who took a risk to be involved in that first year. In that 1 week, we realized 1 week was too short. It was a frenzy of a week. Decided to move it to May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, partially because the end of year was a little much of a struggle for people with a lot of events going on. And so we moved it to May, happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month, so we can tap into the already attention on mental health during that time, which is great. Moved it to a month, did our second one. And I think our second one last year in 2023 about doubled what we did in the first one. And this year we now have 80 charity partners. And I think probably actually as we're talking, I wouldn't be surprised if it just passed the $300,000.
I believe so.
Fine, we can look great.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. That's right. So and the quotes here. I mean, if you can imagine though, this is our third year, and to see that growth. So actually, I think we're on track, Tyler. So, and just to clarify with everybody, all that money being raised, the $300,000, goes directly to those 80 charity partners and the ones that, the chosen funding that you can do for each of those charity partners. So, Horses for Mental Health, again, we have our incredible sponsor Zoetis that covers the cost of us putting this on, so that all that funding can go directly to support and expanding services in these programs and making this more accessible and available, which is so exciting. So our third one, we've been able to have 40 plus celebrities. We already now over $300,000. We're on track then to triple what we did last year. So I'm just so excited to see when you talk about a movement, Horses for Mental Health just confirmed we are over 300,000 followers. Congratulations to everybody and all the hard work of the charity partners and everybody willing to support this, because these are, I think on average, they're like $50 donations, mostly, Tyler.
Yeah.
That people are reaching out to their networks. Hey, do $20, $50, $100, whatever works for people. If it's not your own organization, still give to another organization to support this cause, because that's what creates the movement, the engagement. Really super exciting. And what can happen as we do this each year, and more of the sector gets on board, more people get on board to support this and show, hey, even if someone gives $5, it's showing that, hey, we support this concept. But can you share more about, I guess, this idea? What are you envisioning is going to happen with this, Tyler? What do you hope?
I am so sorry. My sound cut off. What was the last little bit of that?
Yeah, I was just asking Tyler what you're envisioning for the
Mhm.
future of this campaign. And just so you guys know, I want to put a big shout out to Tyler, who none of this would be happening without the incredible work he's done to execute this whole thing and making it happen. So thank you, Tyler. But what do you
Thank
envision
you.
for the future of the Seen Through Horses campaign?
Yeah, well, I think the best thing that's going to happen is that we're actually going to go beyond the Seen Through Horses campaign. The Seen Through Horses campaign, I think, is going to be a keystone of our organization and what we do, and the biggest event that we do in the year, which is super great. But what I think we might not have envisioned from the beginning is that we would start expanding, into different activations annually. But specifically for the Seen Through Horses campaign, I think really having more charity partners that we can have as benefactors for this. I think returning nonprofit organizations that come will know how it works and therefore be able to raise more money, motivate and mobilize more of their volunteers, therefore creating more of a movement, creating more of an impact. Um, Incorporating organizations that might not have been able to ever participate in something like this before. So raising funds that are just not easily as accessible, but also doing trainings, because we're as an organization are wanting to build the sustainability of these organizations, and so creating social media trainings or fundraising templates and press releases, how to engage your local media. These are all things that go beyond just the month of May. We want to, secure opportunities for them beyond, and they can have access to our resources all year long. And so this is our hope that it's an annual thing. Beyond that, like I said, I think there's going to be more activations, whether we're creating more videos that go out, we're incorporating larger celebrities with larger reaches. We're doing events in, different parts of the nation that can draw in more awareness. I really think that we can take this to be a household name, that it's also a program or a service in their community that they can access. And I think at the end of the day, one of the best ones will be that therapy programs incorporating horses will be understood more, and that it's scientific based, it's research based, and that it's a resource that people should and can use. And I think, and I say that out of experience because the first time hearing about it, I didn't know, I didn't understand what it was, and I went through a program and then I understood what that was. And our goal is one, yeah, absolutely go through a program if that's a need, but that through our resources and training, somebody again in their living room on their own phone can understand and say, hey, this would be good for me or somebody I love. And so these are just kind of that more of a household name, a household program, household service, household thing that we're going to be able to help achieve throughout the United States and then beyond. And that's really our goal, is that this can be a worldwide movement, a worldwide access to these programs. And yeah, I think it's just getting started. We have an incredible team. You've led it, amazingly as president. We have a great board, and then but beyond that, we have premier partners, our title sponsors, Zoetis, our charity partners, our ambassadors, our donors. All of these things are coming together, and this is that convening model: is that there's just going to be more and more people on our side with the megaphone, and it's just going to get larger and larger.
Yeah, Freedom Inc. Thanks. Validated. That's my hope and belief as
Mm-hmm.
well. So, yeah, it can just keep growing and getting bigger. I also want to put a shout out and thank the donors of Horses for Mental Health as well. That funding is what's helping us to create this movement, this campaign, and yeah, really exciting the possibilities to make it year-round activations as well as the globe.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
we have so many ideas and thoughts and possibilities, and we know that this can become something that becomes a part of, as Malcolm Gladwell says, a movement that becomes a tipping point where it's just part of everybody's life. It's part of
yeah,
our society, knowing that hey, there's these equine programs that can address our mental health needs. So
absolutely.
yeah, if you guys have any other questions too, feel free to share. We appreciate all of you joining us and hearing more about this. Tyler, do you have any more thoughts that you'd like to share about the campaign? And
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just been incredible. I think there's just a large amount of gratitude to all those involved, to our nonprofit charity partners. We know that there's a lot of work that goes into this. And I think also kind of one point that I've also thought is, this is going beyond, um, multiple sectors, and it's just so super interesting to, as we've been going out more and we've been having more exposure, our name is getting out there, the people that want to connect with us, whether that's in racing, horse racing and the tracks and all of that, or whether it's in rural America and we partner with organizations there, whether it's in urban city or whatever it is. It's just there's so many crossover because mental health affects all of us, and we're able to partner with so many. So it's the option to help people and the options and the organizations or the people or whatever to partner with is so large. It's really exciting to see where this is gonna go. And just again, I think it's just more of a gratitude at this point on the last day, where we've been able to come and everyone that's involved, and just a big thank you to everyone.
Yeah, really appreciate you, Tyler. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being here with us, for all you're doing to make this possible. And yeah, today's the last day of the campaign. If you guys want to get involved, you can go to horsesformentalhealth.org, go to the campaign page, and pick one of the 80 charity partners. I know we're going to give it like 2 more weeks that donations can filter in.
Okay.
So, next couple of weeks of June. But feel free to reach out to us with any questions, suggestions, resources, donations, sponsorships. We hope to grow more and more businesses to get involved in
Mhm.
this campaign and in Horses for Mental Health and what we're trying to do. Thank you, Horses for Mental Health. Just put in the chat the direct link. Appreciate it. And so really appreciate you guys for joining us and hearing more behind the scenes about the Seen Through Horses campaign, how to start a movement, and let's keep it going. Thanks, Tyler, and thanks
Thanks,
everyone.
Lynn, so much. Thanks, everyone.
See you guys next time.
Bye bye.